Hey Marvin, I want to talk to you today. We were talking the other day that nobody can find technicians anymore, and I know you're a Ford Master Tech. Tell me why can't we find anybody to work and fix the cars anymore, Marvin?
One is the blue collarness of the tech world it's become took over by electronics. Just fine. I love technology, but what a lot of people don't understand is we are the blue collar. We are what you want. So we get paid less than anybody in the shop. Service managers, service writers, they all get paid more than what we do. But yeah, we got to have $150,000 worth of tools that we have to buy. We have to stay on top of our training because it changes every year after year, model after model.
Well, so let me ask you this, y'all. This is Krusty Kirk. I'm interviewing my son-in-law Marvin Jones, and so I know, like every time you turn around, I'm like, "Where's Marvin?" Oh, he's got to go to Charlotte for another training. So you have all this stuff you have to do for the Ford
yearly. I mean, it's constantly every 2 to 3 months. I got to stay on top of it. If I don't, then I get left behind. And it's all good and dandy, but we don't make any compensation for it. What a lot of people don't understand is what's called warranty. You take your car in to get fixed, yeah, you might not have to pay anything because it's under warranty. But the manufacturers say, hey, this guy over here can do it at 10 hours. This guy over here can do it at 12 hours. Let's round it down to 6 hours. This is what we're going to pay our techs. It's still going to take you 10 hours. So what happens is you create a RIF. It's called SLTS times, service labor times. So they create a RIF. They keep lowering the times the faster you get. So you end up with techs that just don't care. I'm going to do a half-assed job because I'm not going to get paid for it anyway. So
that's why they're doing.
And you talking about pulling motors and pulling engines and doing timing for 10 hours. I'm sorry, that's not the only car I'm working on. I got other people I got to take care of. And them cars they're working on brand new, never been touched, never been in the mud, never been in the dirt, never been in the salt, never been in the rain, never been in the rust.
Oh, where they're setting the standards, you're saying?
They're setting their standards.
Okay, like from the manufacturer.
Yeah, they do. They do it 5 times in a row, and then that's it. It's just Texas is tired of it. We're all tired of it.
So that's what I don't get. Like there was one time you were talking about there was a dash. You had to pull this old dash out, and anyway something was wrong, and you said it ended up being one of the grounds that was riveted, on the firewall. I guess you pulled it all out, and
the truck shut down going down the road. It lost all communication with the network. Couldn't even drive it, and it was just something simple as a ground that didn't get welded correctly at the plant. That they want 46% because they work so hard. We got to fix your problems, but when are we going to get compensated?
So my point is, if somebody would have brought that in on my car that was not under warranty, it was going to pay like a bunch of hours, and you got paid like nothing hours for
nothing.
It. I mean, it's just like
it was like 2 hours
to pull a dash, and wires and all. Again, I did stuff back when we had points and stuff, so I'm not in your league, but I'm still saying, even if I'd been still doing it, I'd be like, I ain't doing it, man.
It's not even just finding the problem. Once you find the problem, you got to document everything.
Document everything that's on there.
I found this connector had this pin fitment, and searching this and searching that, and I got to write it all down. It's like, I don't get paid for this. But yet your service writer is getting paid just to talk on the phone and just to whatever it may be.
Yeah, that's why I was talking the other day. I was even seeing I saw a couple of service writer jobs, and I was like, man, tell Marvin about that service writer job. Make the same money, don't have to do anything. And then you're always buying stuff. I mean, like, I know you got your toolbox a deal, but like if you bought your toolbox new, just the toolbox you got, what would it cost?
About $22,000.
$22,000 for a toolbox. Just what a car costs.
Just a box.
And the other day, the latest, like you bought I know you had one anyway, but you bought the latest cool. I think I made the video on it here where you got that cool coolant.
Vacuum fill. It allows you to pull vacuum on your cooling system, which is the system when you got cars with turbos. It's not old school. It's just a radiator and heater core anymore. You have a lot of different, coolant elements. So I can pull a vacuum on a vehicle, and if it holds vacuum, then I know I ain't got no leak.
Right.
And once it pulls the vacuum, I can suck the coolant in, and it's
good to go. But the point is, what was that snap-on tool you bought?
About $450.
For that?
Yeah.
I mean, for that. So, back when we spent $400-something, then you get a whole tool set, back in the day.
Yeah.
And so I guess what my thing is, so, like you have a doctor. A doctor don't go in and go like, before I can do my doctor, and I got to buy this machine to check them for cancer that's $1 million. They don't make the doctors buy all. He goes to the hospital and uses their stuff, but yet the daggum mechanics got to go buy all his stuff. The dealership don't have to buy it, and then they make a bigger cut than what does the dealership make? Like, what does a standard dealership make on your cut on your flag time?
It's supposed to be the standard rate is anywhere between 28 to 30% of whatever door rate is called, labor rate. So if your dealer is $150 an hour, then it's supposed to be anywhere between 30% and 29%. Most techs don't make that much. My labor rate is $135 an hour, and I ain't afraid to tell you I make $32 an hour. But I earn every freaking penny of that. If I don't flag at least 80 hours,
right,
I don't make any money. And people say, oh, that's good money. But I don't get paid to sit. I don't get paid as soon as I walk in the door. So if I have no work, I don't get paid.
But your tool bills still do.
My tool bills and my bills at my house and my car payments, they still come. And my kids and everything else, they still come. But with all this UAW stuff and this backorder stuff, and Biden, thank you, Biden, it's hard to make a dollar as a technician. And we're fed up. And a lot of people are just walking out.
Wow, man. There's so many places. That's why. I
got cars that's been at a dealer for 5-6 months because I can't get a part.
They can't get parts.
Yeah.
Really.
So
that's insane. Well, even going back to that, how I did painting and I did cars and stuff, and then that's how I got in water 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I said, you know what, I can do that. Because you can work for a city or somewhere and get water. It's not like but yeah, anytime they can, it's like the doggone the same thing with the pool body people. Mm-hmm. The insurance companies want you to like say there's a wreck, they want you to match. You need to match that door, get it all right, but just paint the door.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just paint the door. You might have to blend into the other door and the front fender or something to make it match. When it doesn't match, the people are mad. Hey, you didn't match my car. Well, I didn't get paid for it.
That's right.
But you didn't match my $50,000 car. What's going on? So yeah, it's a big racket on a lot of that.
It's a huge racket. I mean, it's hard for people to understand. They always want to blame it on the tech, but there's a whole lot of riffraff that gets before the tech. It's not always the tech's fault. Well, y'all didn't fix my stuff. Yeah, we might did fix your stuff, but there's a lot of different variables that go into that. We don't make the vehicles. We fix them.
Yeah, that's just insane though. Especially when you're fixing something that's a warranty work. The warranty should cover it in full. When they put it together, they put it together in a series of steps. Mm-hmm. Now you have to know all of the steps on every car that you work on. Mm-hmm. It's almost like comparing a doctor to a vet. A pool vet has to know everything, something about snakes and and dogs and horses and everything,
Absolutely.
Not just people. So you got to know every car that comes in there. But what amazed me too, how they're even selling some vehicles that are crap. One day I was looking in there, I thought it was amazing how you take the whole cab off of the vehicle now to work on the engine, right?
A lot of people do that. That's become the new norm. It seems shocking to a lot of people, but that is really the easiest way to do some of this stuff.
I mean, that's amazing. I can't even comprehend that.
I'm 45 years old. I'd much rather keep my back. The days of leaning over the hood and reaching down to the bottom, days are over. The days are over.
Well, let me ask you. One day I came by there was I bring you something to eat or something. I happened to be uptown. You were working on a brand new Bronco, and I'm not picking on Ford because a lot of manufacturers had them, But I'm just saying, how do they get by? Like if I buy, that's why I buy Toyotas. I'm not hating on anybody, but Toyota never let me down. But I'm just asking a lot of these vehicles. I'll tell you one we'll pick on. We'll pick on Kia because we know their thing with their engines that have quit before and all that. Man, what does people, when you're paying a payment on something and it quits and it's their fault and they want to argue about it, man, I mean, what in the world? I mean, you get caught in the middle of that. That's what I'm saying.
It's always the tech's fault.
It's like, well, you can't, so I guess, so again, starting back, I don't want to keep you too long, but that was what I was mainly wanting to let everybody know is that's why you're not finding good tech. So I guess if nothing else, the moral of the story is if you find a good tech, find out his name, get his number, because at some point he probably won't be up at that place. He's probably working out at his house, because that's how it is. I know even years ago when I was a kid.
It's always a domino effect, especially with the big three. And I'm going to say the big three. Toyota's not involved in that. There are other stuff. They get pushed. They get pushed by the government. Everybody else, do this. And a lot of stuff gets missed. And it could be something as simple as not plugging the connector all the way. That could fry a whole entire car. Oh, you messed up my car. No, we didn't mess it up. This is the way it is where it came from. The whole Kentucky plant thing was a situation where the trucks were in the speedway thousands.
Yeah,
of
tell them
trucks.
about that. I know I was going to go, but tell me, this was amazing. Tell that story about where you found about that one vehicle. Tell
Well,
them
it
the
was
story.
one of my other techs that found it, but he had issues with his navigation and his satellite radio from day one.
From day one when he bought this vehicle new.
And what a lot of people don't understand, when we have warranty, we can't just shoot whatever we want to shoot at. We have pinpoint tests that we have to follow by Ford through Ford. They have to tell us, okay, this is what I need you to do, this is what I want you to do. If the parts are on back order,
Then you can't even, got to wait on it.
We got to wait on it. Okay, I understand you bought a new truck, but I have to wait. This is what my boss, Ford, is telling me to do. So we did all the process, replace this cable, that didn't fix it, replace this, that didn't fix it, replace this, that didn't fix it. Finally got down to the antennas were on top of the truck. Now remind you, this is a brand new truck. Took them off, rubber seal around the antennas, and between the aluminum body and the antenna, it was just straight up corrosion. It was like it's been ate up in salt for 10 years.
This was a new vehicle.
New vehicle. I mean, it had 7,000 miles on it, but still new vehicle.
Right.
And in my head, I said, just mess around. I said, that had to be one of the trucks sitting in the Speedway in Kentucky. I said, there's no other explanation. I said, there is this brand new truck, day one. Why would there be so much corrosion on the hood on the roof of this truck? There's no other explanation. Very
Just
clean
sat around
truck.
that plate.
He doesn't go mudding. He's not, it's very clean truck. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? That's just, some of the stuff, wow, man. Well, I kept you long enough. I appreciate it, and I'll just, we'll put this up on YouTube because I know there's been people asking as I go around. I was even talking to the folks the other day when I took my car down. People can't find technicians. So by the time you get to be really good like you are in your field and your age, if somebody like say middle age, and you know what you're doing, you got your tools, you get so tired of it, you're going, you know what? I'm going to the house, put it in the shop, and then I'll do something else.
What happens when people get my age, because of the technology, you get guys coming in that are not blue collar. And what I consider blue collar is somebody that goes to the grind every single day, puts in the work, takes pride in their work, wants to work on cars. But nowadays, you get these guys straight out of college, can go to a classroom, answer all these questions, and think they know everything. And they come to these dealerships. Oh, I'm a master technician. Sorry for my language. No, the fuck you ain't. You haven't turned the time that any of these technicians have. You might be smart, but you haven't put in the work. And they get put in front of the older guys. And yes, some of us older guys are stubborn, don't want to learn the new things, but we do learn the new things because we have to. And they come in, think they know everything, and they're put on this pedestal. Oh, he's so smart. Well, fix it then.
There was tell of a story. You don't have to go where it is, but tell of a story of a mechanic you knew about. This one. It was there was a story. That one fellow that was so great, and he ended up messing the whole car up. Or can you not tell that? You can't probably tell that. That would be that's sketchy.
It's a common knowledge that Ford had an issue with audits because there were certain technicians that on safety recalls they paid a certain amount of time, and it got around from the Ford spies of how quick these technicians were doing them. So they cut the labor times, and the labor times were ridiculous. And yes, I'm talking about door latches. They went from like 3 hours to like 1.5 hours. I don't even know because I didn't even do them. I hated doing door latches. So it got to the point where technicians just weren't doing them. They said, screw it. I'm just not going to do them. I'm going to throw door latches in the trash can and just tell the customer that it was done. Now, yes, that's a wrong because that's a safety recall. Doors are popping open, kids falling out, people dying.
Use the disclaimer. You don't do that.
I don't do that.
You don't never do that.
So yeah, that put a lot of bad taste in people's mouth, and not every technician is like that. But that's the way it's going because techs are just tired. Techs are just tired of getting treated like crap by service writers, service managers. Back in the day when I was working on cars, the technician or the mechanic, whatever you want to call us, was top tier. Right. He was the man. Now we are like as low as low. Service advisors are more knowledgeable. Service managers, it's not like it used to be.
Well, you know what, and I think that's somewhat in a lot of fields now. Whoever's doing the work, the blue collar guy, if you will, he gets all the crap, and the people. There was 4 or 5 levels of what I always call them do nothings, right? I know at this one particular water plant we were at, they were going to have a hurricane, and me and the other fellow, you know which one I'm talking about, me and the other fellow were the two that stayed for the hurricane. They thought they were going to let it pay us 12 hours on, 12 hours off, while we stayed and all the rest of them hauled ass. And so we got together and said, no, we're not going to do it. You'll pay us 24 hours a day while we're here. But what I'm saying, so we're the worker bees. We both had A licenses and we ran the water plant. But I'm saying you're going to leave two guys running this multi-million-dollar operation for everybody in all these counties for the water. Two guys. And yet all the big wheels making the big, big money. They're all sitting at home, or hauled ass. So, yeah, it's like that everywhere. And I think that's why it's so funny. That's why, I guess we got a deeper discussion here. They're wondering why they can't find anybody to work. Well, people will work if you'll pay me. You got to pay me. I'm not going to work.
The pay is definitely got to be there, but you also got to give respect where it's due.
Right.
Yes, everybody's expendable and everybody can be replaced. But when you got somebody that's good, why would you want to? It just makes no sense how the man that you can't. The process starts at the top and goes to the bottom. You can't put the technician at the bottom. He's the one that makes your money, keeps your shop open, keeps your lights on, and he has to pay for all his tools.
Well, also too, keep in mind too, like you said, they send you to all those different things. Even like if you say you don't want to do transmissions or whatever, if you got a guy, you still have to have that certification where you go, because if the technicians don't have certain certifications, the shop can't hold the. Is that right?
They have certain dealerships. Ford is one of them. Has what's called shop competency. So technically, a lot of people don't know this. Technically, you're not even supposed to touch certain things on certain people's vehicles if you're not certified in it. If I was the only tech in the shop, which I'm not, and we have other certified techs, and you came in with a transmission problem, I couldn't touch your transmission if I weren't certified in it. That's Ford's rule. That's Ford's warranty.
Right.
And that makes sense. You have the training. You need to be trained.
Oh, well, I know, because down here, down here in South Carolina, we all get a bad rap for Bubbas, but there's some Bubbas like, oh, ain't no problem, man. We can do it like this. Yeah, I can fix it. We'll do it out under and I can do it for half the price.
You got a bunch of YouTube mechanics. I mean, it's something as simple as what's called a bliss, which is blind spot. It's on your rear tail light. Tail light blows out. You can replace the bulb 100 times. It's not going to work until I have to go in that computer and turn that code off. And I know what I'm doing. I replaced the bulb. It still ain't working. I got voltage to power there. It is working. I put my test light. It's working. Okay. But the computer says, nope, it's not working. So, yeah.
So what you're saying, like old school, even if a fella had rewired it, it's not sending a signal from the computer once the bulb had burned out. So you, as the technician, have to go in there and reset it with your computer. Mm-hmm. See, now people don't know that. Or just like, remember one time, it's been a few years ago, but we were talking about something, back in the day when if you didn't want to put the scope or anything on it, you'd go and just pull the spark plugs off you pull the spark plugs, out, and you'd be like, oh, it's still running good. And Marvin says, if you do that now, you burn up all the coil packs. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, we have 3-wire coil packs on most of our cars now, and it's a return, and it's a hot, and it's got a PCM control. If you unplug that coil with the car running, you will fry the PCM. Point blank, done.
No kidding.
Yep. Done.
See, and people, so people gonna help. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did. It was running kind of rough, so I did this when I was over there, and then we had to have it towed in. It's like, that's what you did, big dog. It's
a cluster, because I have a hard time understanding. Okay, if you're home, if you're not capable of fixing it yourself, your electrician goes out, your hot water heater goes out, whatever it may be. You call a plumber, you call an electrician. Great trade. From the rip, you will get charged a service fee before they even come out to your house.
I hadn't thought of that. That's right. And you will be happy for it.
You're going to be happy for it. But if a technician charges you a diagnostic fee for $135 and don't fix your car, you're pissed. Explain. I would love for somebody to explain.
You know what? We need to put this like on the highlight section of the video, because it's so funny. The other day, my people that I love came out. My Snellgrove here in Waldeboro. I love them. They came out, and I had an issue, and anyway, they came out and fixed that relay and all that. And it was it 170, 125? It was reasonable. But I mean, you're talking about two guys come out, and then their top guy, he is awesome. He's the Marvin Jones of the AC world. And so, and when they leave, I felt good. I'm like, hey, the guy knew, and he told me what to do. And I said, well, what if that thing, if I hadn't caught it, would it have caught the whole house on fire? He said, even if it got hot, and because it was contained in that metal box, the way they had all the relays in there, he said it would have just eventually got so hot, started burning, and then it would have finally popped your breaker. Yeah. But so anyway, that's a great point. I never realized that, because right. So when they say, what's it, just to come out and look at your air conditioner, this is my fee for riding out there.
Right.
And even if I don't fix it, then the parts are extra. But y'all, they want to gripe on their car.
You charge me $105 and my car still don't run? Sorry.
So they are mad at you already.
Yeah, mad at you already.
So, well, you've answered our question why the techs are getting out. So what you're saying, it'd be easier just to go up there and work on trucks for UPS and make $40 an hour or whatever, right?
At least be union, I guess.
Yeah, I guess, or even don't get out. I mean, like in your case, the stuff you fixed here for us, the stuff you've engineered, I mean, you could go to work in any plant, in maintenance, and then not, get paid and get insurance and all. Don't have to buy any tools, or hey, you're good to go, man.
It used to be fun working on cars, and it still is. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, I just fixed the car. I got $150-some thousand in tools, and I just fixed the car. That's all I did. Customer's not happy. Nobody's happy. Boss is not happy. Took too long. Not productive enough. Sometimes it's not worth it. It's not like it used to be whenever you fix the car and you're like, man, you hear that car running? I fixed that. I did that.
Yeah.
There's too much politics in it now.
Well, thank you so much, Marvin Jones, and we'll get back to you again, sir.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Bye.